On a stormy night, the rain poured heavily, casting a veil of isolation over the neighborhood. In 3 separate houses, individuals found themselves alone, unaware of the chilling experiences that awaited them. Little did they know that these rainy nights would become the backdrop for 3 terrifying encounters that would forever haunt their memories. On a stormy night, Sarah found herself home alone while her parents attended a late-night event. The rain poured heavily outside, creating a sense of isolation. As she sat in the living room, watching a movie, the phone rang. She picked it up to hear an eerie voice whisper, "I can see you." Startled, she hung up and tried to dismiss it as a prank. Minutes later, the phone rang again. This time, the voice on the other end said, "I'm coming for you." Fear gripped Sarah as she realized it wasn't a joke. She hurriedly locked all the doors and windows, double-checking each one. As the movie played in the background, Sarah heard a faint tapping sound on the front door. Heart pounding, she peered through the peephole but saw nothing. Suddenly, the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. Trembling, she fumbled for her phone to call the police, but it was dead. With the sound of footsteps approaching, Sarah hid in a closet, hoping to remain undetected. The footsteps grew louder, coming closer to the closet. Just as she thought she was about to be discovered, the front door burst open, and the intruder rushed inside. But to Sarah's surprise, it was her neighbor, Mr. Johnson, who had noticed the power outage and wanted to check on her. Relieved, Sarah explained the strange phone calls. Together, they searched the house, but found no signs of an intruder. It remains a mystery who made those chilling calls and what their intentions were. But Sarah never felt completely at ease in her home again. During a rainy night, Emily found herself alone in her family's old Victorian house. As she settled into bed, she noticed her grandmother's antique doll sitting on the shelf across the room. It had always given her the creeps, with its glassy eyes and worn-out appearance. As Emily tried to fall asleep, she heard faint giggling echoing through the house. The sound seemed to come from the doll, but she dismissed it as her imagination playing tricks on her. However, the giggling continued, growing louder and more persistent. Fearful, Emily decided to move the doll to another room, but as she picked it up, the laughter turned into a menacing growl. Startled, she dropped the doll and it rolled under the bed. She couldn't bear the thought of leaving it there, so she mustered her courage and reached under to retrieve it. As her hand touched the doll, she felt an icy cold sensation and heard a voice whisper, "You can't escape me." Terrified, Emily pulled her hand back and jumped out of bed. She ran downstairs, seeking refuge in the living room. From the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of the doll slowly descending the stairs, its arms outstretched. Panicking, she dashed out of the house and sought shelter at a neighbor's place. When Emily's parents returned home, they found the doll back on the shelf, seemingly innocent. But Emily refused to go near it again, convinced that it was possessed by something evil. On a rainy night, David was home alone while his family was away for the weekend. He had always found solitude comforting, but that night, the house seemed unusually eerie. The sound of raindrops tapping against the windows amplified the sense of isolation. As David settled into his bedroom, he heard a soft scratching sound coming from the attic. Curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to investigate. He climbed up the stairs, flashlight in hand, and cautiously opened the attic door. The beam of light revealed an empty space, cluttered with forgotten belongings. But just as David was about to retreat, the scratching sound grew louder. He scanned the area, trying to locate the source, and his heart skipped a beat when he spotted a hidden crawlspace. With a mix of trepidation and curiosity, he crawled inside. The space was narrow and filled with cobwebs. As he shone his flashlight around, he saw a pair of eyes staring back at him from the darkness. Startled, he stumbled backward, realizing he wasn't alone. Something unseen lunged at him, knocking the flashlight out of his hand. In the pitch-black darkness, David fought to escape, but the unseen entity was relentless. It scratched and clawed at him, leaving deep marks on his skin. Summoning all his strength, David managed to crawl out of the crawlspace, slamming the door shut behind him. He collapsed on the attic floor, gasping for breath. When he mustered the courage to venture back upstairs, the scratching had ceased, and the house fell silent. To this day, David can't explain what attacked him in the attic. The experience left him scarred, both physically and emotionally, and he's never been able to return to that house alone at night. The memory of the unseen visitor continues to haunt him, a chilling reminder of the mysterious forces that lurk in the shadows. As the storm finally subsided and the morning sun broke through the clouds, the three survivors emerged from their respective ordeals. Though shaken and forever changed, they found solace in knowing they had faced their fears head-on and survived. They now shared a bond, a shared understanding of the unexplainable horrors that can unfold within the confines of home.